So today I want to talk to you about barriers. Why can't you just go to the gym? Why can't you just go to choir? Why can't you just do something that you really want to do, that you always really wanted to do? Why can't you just go to Australia if that's been your heart's desire for like 20 years? What's stopping you from doing these physical things, okay? The type of barrier I'm talking to you about is something that I like to call an energetic barrier. So this is a barrier that you may have had since childhood. It's something linked to fear, which is there to protect you. So I'll talk to you about a barrier that I've recently done some work on. My barrier is called struggle. Now, I grew up in a town which was ravaged by Thatcherite Britain. I grew up on an estate, and I kind of feel like I grew up fighting. I guess in my head, because I'm successful and because I'm a high achiever and because I'm somebody that's not a product of their circumstance, I don't know, I just think that my head decided that there needed to be a struggle. I spoke to this wonderful coach, his name is Brandon. He's a coach that I worked alongside with the wonderful Jovan Langford a few months back in London when we did some workshopping together. And I just resonated really heavily with Brandon, and I was on a 20-minute call with him. And we talked about this struggle. And Brandon said something really cool to me, and I'm just going to demonstrate it to you. He said, and he's from LA, right? So he's like, do you have a pencil? And I had a pencil in my hand. So he's like, pick it up. So I picked it up. And they said, no, drop it. And I dropped it, and I burst out laughing. Because he said, there's no process in you picking it up and dropping it. All you did was you started something and you finished something. Not everything needs to have a process. And sometimes it's just a question of taking action and knowing that something is easier than you perceive it to be. And actually, possibly for you, and I know for me, going to the next level, stepping up into where I'm meant to be, is easier than I realise it is. There doesn't have to be a process. There doesn't have to be a struggle. There doesn't have to be a barrier. Remember that those barriers are things that we put in place ourselves. Those barriers are things that we create to keep ourselves safe. They are self-defense mechanisms. So, this is a little exercise for you. There are 3 things that I'd like you to do. I'd like you to sit quietly and ask yourself what barriers you have. There will be one main barrier and a few small others probably. That main barrier I can guarantee will be linked to fear, either fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not doing it right, whatever you want to call it, they'll be linked to fear, okay? Name the barrier, and then when you've named it, just be grateful for it, because actually that barrier has kept you safe for a really long time. It's protected you from failing or hurting yourself or being rejected or whatever it might be. Say thank you to it, and if you don't want that barrier anymore, just say, I don't need you anymore. In fact, it's time for me to move forward. It is as simple as that, making a decision in your head, and then you can take the next step. And once you take the next step, guess what? The barrier's not there anymore. So just think about that. Think about those 3 steps and let me know how you get on. Make sure you share this with somebody you think needs it, and I'll see you next time.